People are sick and tired of Christian Keys taking them on with this false revelation without naming them. At this point, people are just like, boy, give the whole story or go on about your business. But what else has he said that has people on edge? Will Meagan Good dump Jonathan Majors now that he has literally lost everything? Miss Good has been catching a lot of stray cats lately. We'll see if she will keep up the same intensity with Jonathan. But first, Christian Keys is hoping to receive a settlement or hush money because of the way he's been taking us for granted. If you've been following the Christian Keys story, you're aware that he made some controversial remarks about a wealthy black billionaire who has tried to sleep with him for years and wants to harass him. I felt that I needed to be protected because I'm telling them no, and I don't want someone as powerful as they are to try to obstruct my work. Christian went into great detail about his own experience, saying that this influential guy boasted about having several young black males on his payroll, and the black men only needed to show up when he asked them to. Christian stated that after the millionaire had offered him $100,000 to strip, the man had then offered to purchase him a vehicle as an act of contrition. When he showed up to my apartment the month or the year before, I wasn't working for him. He said, "I don't even need to touch you, I just want to see you naked." I declined. He also related an incident in which, after a night of drinking at this person's house, he was sleeping when the man tried to get into bed with him, which he blamed on the alcohol. And after attempting to express forgiveness and go away with a handshake, the man twice grabbed his instead of his hand. In addition, Christian revealed that he has recordings of their discussions since he has carried a recording device with him since 2005. Christian uploaded a video that was over an hour long, and he never once mentioned the name of the aggressor. He also mentioned how great confidentiality agreements and non-disclosure agreements aren't able to stop someone from turning all those recordings over to the police, because stalking is illegal and attempted stalking is a felony. After dropping the bombshell, it was fairly easy for people to assume that one of the men he was talking about was Tyler Perry, the powerful black billionaire who boasts about having several black men on his payroll and has a documentary. This was especially true when Christian mentioned not watching the documentary about the powerful man, which led people to assume that the man was Tyler Perry. People are getting quite irritated with Christian for not removing his name a few days after he uploaded the video, and I can see why those are some pretty serious accusations. And the strong man is still clearly abusing other people, making him the last person who ought to be defending others. It was also mentioned that he ought to publicly clarify if he isn't speaking about Tyler in light of all the negative remarks. Since he spilled the tea, Tyler Perry has been receiving more attention. Christian's friend Claudia Jordan implied that one of the men Christian mentioned is Robert Smith when she wrote about him on her articles, but she said nothing to suggest that Tyler Perry is the other man. I'm not sure whether Christian asked her to leave a clue, but from his perspective, the only action he's taken since sharing his story is to like posts. That being said, after watching Christian Keys, I can see that he is obviously a victim who was abused by a gay millionaire and has just $3 million to his name. I don't think TP was involved. I wish Christian had done something because then the man would still have his money and good reputation, and Christian would still be broken. Does Christian's post stating that Tyler Perry was not him mean that he is confirming it wasn't him again? People were really irritated by Christian's lack of clarity. One person even wrote in response, saying that Christian was gaslighting them. If I had told them, they would have been upset, like, dude, say the name, or leave it on the porch. Simply state that as a victim of this isn't for games or likes. Another person said, if it wasn't Tyler Perry, why wouldn't he have cleared his name by now? If he and TP have a good working relationship, I'm sure he would have pleaded with Christian to clarify publicly that it's not him he's talking about. I agree that Tyler would not have allowed his name to be dragged that much for days if Christian wasn't talking about him. We are discussing the same man, after all, who had a whole Boondocks episode taken off the air because he objected to the way the media represented him as a homosexual man. If he and Christian got along well at work, he would have advised Christian to get his name cleared as soon as possible. I don't know, guys, but in my opinion, Christian's fondness for playing clues and liking tweets just serves to validate the assumption that Christian disclosed this in an unclear manner in an attempt to obtain hush money or a settlement. Anyway, As time goes on, people are also curious about if Jonathan Majors has been abandoned by Meagan Good after he has lost everything. Jonathan was fighting with his ex-girlfriend Grace Jabari in court. Grace claimed that Jonathan had hurt her during a videotaped altercation. Grace testified that the incident started when she saw a text on Jonathan's phone that said, "Oh, how I wish to be kissing you." Grace attempted to take the phone from Jonathan, but Jonathan pried her finger off the phone, grabbed her arm, and broke her right hand. Despite the fact that Meagan's actions to remove the phone from her were not captured on tape, she was among those who backed Jonathan and even went to court with him while holding his hand. She was also present in court for Grace Jabari's testimony and the prosecution's arguments, listening to all the negative things they had to say about Jonathan. According to sources, Meagan felt that Grace and the prosecution were spreading false information because it contradicted everything she knew about Jonathan. It seems that she was especially upset about the text messages that prosecutors repeatedly brought up between Jonathan and Grace, and she felt that Grace was manipulative and controlling during their relationship. It was also reported that the difficulties posed by the trial were strengthening the bond between Jonathan and Meagan, making their love even more enduring. Indeed, courtroom reports indicated both Meagan and Jonathan were in tears on the final day of the trial while his attorney was giving the closing arguments. However, following the jury's conviction of Jonathan, many began to question if Meagan would continue to be as enthusiastic. While Meagan supported him throughout the trial, Jonathan Majors has been losing shows and brand agreements like crazy since his arrest in March. This isn't the same situation now that he is incarcerated, especially given that his career seems to have collapsed. First off, he will no longer be starring in the movie version of The Man in My Basement, which is based on the Walter Mosley novel, or be considered for the upcoming unannounced 5th season of the Otis Reading biopic Otis and Zelma. He was also announced as an understudy for Spike Lee, but no updates have been released regarding that project since the allegations surfaced in March. In addition, he was reportedly fired from both his PR team at the lead company and his management team at Entertainment 360. In the first week following his arrest, the U.S. Army canceled a campaign that featured him. The Texas Rangers of Major League Baseball removed him from their 2023 season ad campaign. And, as if that weren't enough, Marvel Studios fired him from the role of Kang the Conqueror in its upcoming Marvel Cinematic Universe film. Given all that has transpired, Meagan has been attracting a lot of attention from strangers. Some have said that she doesn't seem to be as excited about Jonathan's conviction as this individual was on X. Another person said, "I just want to understand why Meagan Good pitched her wagon to a man accused of DV and why hope it was worth it, and she was well compensated for her services and the Bible that kept showing up with two in court. Meagan doesn't seem like the ride-to-die chick, lol. She'll be in the arms of the next Hollywood actor in a few months. Perhaps she will truly endure it and stay by Jonathan till he completes his term." But what are your thoughts? Will Jonathan's sister continue to be as energetic while he is incarcerated? Or do you believe Jonathan is most likely already being discarded right now? Do you two believe that Christian Keys has been deceiving us in the hopes of receiving hush money? Put your ideas in the space provided for comments below.